Hi there, this is Miss Rich. Welcome to our lesson on the Children's March and reviewing the poster projects. Let's get started with a bell ringer for today. Here in front of you, I have a quote from Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech from 1963. This quote says, "It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment and to estimate the determination of its colored citizens. This sweltering summer of the colored people's legitimate discontent will not pass until there is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hope that the colored Americans need to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual." Please highlight a metaphor present in this text. I chose to highlight this portion, a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. I think we've all heard the term business as usual before, but in this case, this is a metaphor meaning typical behavior or behavior that would be present before integration or the end of segregation in the South. When you're all set, head to the next slide. In today's lesson, we'll be working on poster presentations, children in politics, and the Children's March in 1963. We want you guys to be able to listen to your classmates and organize the information that they provide you. We'd also like you to describe how the Children's March impacted American politics. At this point in the video, we would like you to pause and access the information that Mr. Freezer and I will provide you. Please be aware, if you missed the Zoom call or were unable to attend class and missed our classroom discussion, we will provide an alternate method for you to receive this information. Once you're ready, head to the next slide. A question that we want to ask the class is, do children have political power? We will keep a class tally and provide you with this information so that you know what's on your classmates' mind. But what do you think? Talk to somebody near you or at home, or muse for yourself. Do you really think that children have political power? Why? Once you've had some time to think this over, head to the next slide. This picture is really interesting, and it says a lot about the role that children can play in American politics. What we're looking at here is a photograph that was taken from the Children's March, which happened on May 2nd, 1963, in a city called Birmingham, which is in Alabama in the United States, particularly in the South. These are people who have been protesting segregation and unfair treatment based on race, and they are currently being arrested by these policemen. If you were to flip the camera, you would actually see the entrance into the Birmingham jail. Specifically, these children are in fact being arrested. Specifically, the youngest protester arrested in the Birmingham campaign in 1963 was 8 years old. But why is that? How can this actually happen? Why are there little kids, especially seen here, being arrested for their actions? In order to understand a little bit more, we need to spend some time focusing on the Children's March of 1963. Let's head to the next slide. The Children's March in 1963 is sometimes referred to as the Children's Crusade. The Children's March was a part of a larger campaign, sometimes known as the Birmingham Campaign, which was set up to protest segregation in the South specifically. This was a march that hundreds of school students in Birmingham, Alabama are going to undertake. The goal of this march was to work together to walk downtown and approach the city's mayor about ending segregation, specifically in Birmingham. Many children, including children especially your guys' age, are involved in this march, which lasts about 3 days. Some things we want you guys to know. Many children are going to leave school specifically and are arrested. Some of those children are going to be set free and then arrested the next day. Just the first day of this march's arrests alone bring the total number of jailed protesters to 1,200 people in the 900 capacity Birmingham jail. My question for you guys is, why is this number relevant? What was the intention of having so many people, including 600 children, be arrested in one day? Was it because they legitimately wanted to fill the jails? Or maybe make a point that there wasn't enough room to hold the people that were breaking the law? That's really the intention behind this movement. We also know that those marches are going to be stopped, specifically by the head of police, whose name was Bull Connor. He's very famously going to bring fire hoses and turn them on these children and set police dogs to bite and attack these children. Photographs that record this, as well as footage of these things happening, are going to transform the American public opinion about who's in the right and who's in the wrong in this protest. Is it right to use violent means against children who are peacefully protesting? That question is going to strike at the heart of many American conversations throughout the duration of the campaign. And lastly, something we want you to know is that this event is going to compel President John F. Kennedy, or JFK, to publicly support a law or federal civil rights legislation. This is going to lead to the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. We're going to spend some more time on this act later next week, but we want you to know that it is, in fact, the Children's March and the role that it plays in the media that not only puts pressure on the American people, but also the president to act responsibly and to create more justice within policies surrounding segregation and discrimination. Let's head to the next slide. We have put together 6 questions that we would like you to answer specifically about the Birmingham Children's March. You will answer these questions by watching the video on slide 9. Please click this link in order to answer the questions. Once you're all set, the answer key is provided for you here. Simply rotate the image when you're ready to check that you have the correct answers. When you're all set, we'd like you to answer the final question. Who did the children of Birmingham, Alabama actually impact? How? Please type your answer here in several complete sentences. Thanks so much.